All right, welcome to Don't Spoil the Ending. This is episode 37 of the show.
Yep.
How are we doing? I'm Joe.
I'm Sam.
I'm Nick.
And hi, I'm John. And yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. I've been really ill in the last week, as you all know.
Yeah.
Yep. Had a week off work.
What have you been doing?
Just been in bed. I've been so ill. Yeah, it's just after a brush with death like that, it really puts things in perspective for you. So,
Do you want to fill the listeners in on what's up with you?
not really. I was just dying of viral infection. Yeah, everything basically. Had a temperature of 140 at one point.
Centigrade or
Degrees, I think. Is that?
degrees? Yeah,
Does that sound right?
yeah. Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really ill last week. Did we do a show? We did do a show last week, didn't we?
We did.
It was right after the show when I got ill. Yeah.
Maybe this show's making you sick.
I went home, nearly fainted, and ill all week after that. Yeah. So.
Just used all your energy up for the last show.
Yep. But I've survived.
Yeah, you're here now.
I'm back.
Yeah, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. While I was dying with a temperature, Inman was sunning himself in Lanzarote.
Well, under the clouds.
Well, yeah, what was Lanzarote like?
It was good. It was a good chilled holiday. Wasn't the weather I wanted. It wasn't.
Rain?
Yeah, lots of rain, lots of cloud.
Yeah.
Few bits of sun. Got a little bit of a tan.
You have been unlucky, really, because I've been Lanzarote a few times and never seen rain. I mean, it has been cloudy a couple of times, but...
According to you, though, nobody's seen fog since the 80s.
1984. Yeah.
The last batch of fog, 1984.
Yeah, fog is not a thing anymore. Yeah.
What was the other one? You said there was another one as well.
Oh,
There
what
was
was the
another
other
weather
one?
effect that you think doesn't exist anymore.
There's been no fog.
Wasn't it the difference between fog and mist or something like that?
Yeah, we've had mist since 1984, but no fog. Yep. There was something else.
There was
wasn't
something else, and you were like, "Oh, I've not seen any of that since the 90s." Or
there? Yeah, I'll get
Was it not just snow, that one?
maybe. But yeah, tune in next week for that one. I'll figure out what it is.
Yeah,
in the
great.
meantime. Yeah.
Tune in next week for the weather update.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's me and Nick. We've just been not been going Lanzarote, and we've not been ill. So
So we've been working our asses off.
yeah, that's correct. All right. Well, should we start with games? I think I'm the only one with a game this week, but The Last of Us, the remastered version. Has anyone played that?
Yeah, I played the PS3 version and the remastered version as well. Yep.
I played it for a bit on the PlayStation Now, but I couldn't get into it. I really couldn't get into it. Like, what it was, I got to this one bit where you had to jump down into a hole, and there's just freaking zombies everywhere, and I've not gotten past it, and I've died.
That's the exact same bit I got. So I was about to say, I was the same as it turned out. We got up to the same point. You jumped down and I couldn't get past the point. I was like, I sat this. You know.
I'm sticking with it for the moment, which is mad to say because it won. I'm sure it won loads of Game of the Year awards, loads of awards everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's a really well constructed game. It looks amazing. Sound design's good in it. Ticks all the boxes. But yeah, again, like you, Nick, and you, Sam, I'm kind of playing it going, I'm waiting for this to click with me. And I'm just playing it until I get to that point. Because when I'll die in a sequence like 3 or 4 times and I'll go, this is my last attempt now. I'm going to turn it off if I die here. And then I just manage to do it.
Well, that's what happened to me, though. I was like, oh, this was my last attempt, and I actually didn't do it. So,
So you just turn off.
But is that, no, like on the attempt where I'm like, this is my last go, I ended up doing it. So I just ended up playing it for like another half an hour after that. But yeah, like I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking at it going, I should love this game because it's like The Walking Dead but good. Like that's the feel I get for it. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to click. I'm about 4 hours in, so I'm about a third of the way in, maybe something like that.
Probably. Yeah.
I've not been doing any side stuff, like exploring. I've just literally just been mainlining it.
I'll be honest. From memory, I don't think there was much exploration anyway. To be honest.
No, but like when you'll be walking down the road and you'll see like a little path.
Yeah.
And you could take that path. I'm just not interested. I'm just going down the actual game route. But yeah, like I'm gonna give it more time. I think I'll end up really liking it, but
I think you will. Yeah.
It's taken me some time to get into it, and I don't know why that would be.
I don't know if you're finding this, but I found when I first played it that with it being a bit of a stealthy action kind of game, I was trying to do things perfectly. I was trying to like round corners and approach enemies in the perfect way and kill them. But as soon as you let go of that and just start playing it a bit more janky, just doing whatever you want and just smack. You know what I mean? I felt like there was the right way to play it. As soon as I got over that, I was just like, yeah, you can. They're not that terrifying, these zombies, actually. You know what I mean? Once you know how to kill them, kind of thing.
The start of the game is amazing. Like where you start off and you're the little girl and you're listening to the reports on the news and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that
that's really good because you see an explosion on the TV and you then see the explosion out the window.
Yeah.
There's all that sort of stuff. And
It's
then
just the feeling of running through the streets with all the other survivors kind of thing.
Yeah,
It really does
like-
feel like panic kind of thing.
yeah,
Like
that's really good.
yeah.
But then it says 20 years later. You're like, oh,
Yep.
okay. I suppose that's the point of the game. But I'm playing it now because there's a second one coming out, and I want to see if I'm gonna like the second one
Yeah.
because like I said, I do think I like this game, but it's not one of them games where I'm just can't wait to get back to it. I could leave it for a few days now, but might just be me. Well, it's not
I
just me.
like-
It's you two agree, but. Yeah, I'm finding it baffling because it's like one of the most critically acclaimed games there've been.
I like just how kind of like nihilistic it is. Like you meet a woman early on who's like kind of like your partner in the game, and she's helping you at the start, and then she's killed. Like,
Yeah.
just like kind of, it's not even a big death. Just kind of like just gets bit or something. You just got to leave her for dead kind of thing, and
Yeah.
just little bits like that. I thought, it's a bit like The Road. I feel like
Yeah,
that's probably more of an influence on it. I think.
yeah, I can
The
see
adult
that.
and child kind of thing, just trying to stay alive. Like,
Yeah,
yep.
no, I'll report back when I've played a bit more of it.
Yep.
Got no other games, have we, this week? No.
No.
Well, let's move on to TV then. Yeah.
Yeah.
We happy with
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I was waiting for a bit of reassurance there. Like, do you want to move to TV? Yeah. I finally watched season 3 of Twin Peaks.
Finally.
Yeah, I've also listened to Nick and John, your Twin Peaks episodes that you did.
Yep.
That you'll find on this feed if you go back a few months. They were really good guys.
Yep. Cheers.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So you've watched the show, listened to the podcast,
Yeah.
and grew the David
Bought the
Lynch
t-shirt.
haircut.
Yeah. So my hair's getting more and more David Lynchian every time I get it cut. So I'm getting there. But David Lynch is a really cool guy.
He's so stylish in it. I absolutely love like his style. Like I would wear his like what he wears if I could pull it off.
I think Gordon Cole might be the best character in Twin Peaks, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Viola Albert is fantastic in this new series.
I want to say a few things about Twin Peaks. So with this latest season of Twin Peaks, and probably similar with the last couple of seasons, there's obviously a few different things going on. But
Yeah.
the way the show's constructed, and you spoke about this on your own show, which was that there's always like these lives that are just going on. So like you'll see like these nice little, is his name Big Ed?
Big Ed, yeah.
Yeah.
Big
Stuff
Ed
like
Hurley.
him, he'll just appear and like he'll have his own little storyline. But it's the characters I think I like more in the show than any of the story, because the story is very much, it's great, but I'm kind of sat there thinking I don't really understand some of this. But
Yeah.
it's the way these characters all interact with each other. I think that's what I love about it, and that's why
definitely.
I'd love an extra season. Like I've read about it. The door is always open for.
But I don't think I think like if it's left down to David Lynch, which it is, essentially like we might get it in another 20 years or something.
Yeah, when it's 91.
It's like when you get Gordon Cole, like, and he's communicating with Coop and stuff, and it's just like Coop. It's just great. It's just stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I've waited so long to actually go ahead and watch it, but it's a very different season of Twin Peaks compared to
definitely.
anything.
It feels like David Lynch was more interested in doing just something totally different, and he keeps popping back to Twin Peaks every now and then just to check in, like you mentioned, with Big Ed Hurley and Norma and stuff like that. But he's more interested in just following like the doppelganger around and just all of his criminal activity and stuff.
I think it was you, John, who predicted that we're probably only going to get to see the real Dale Cooper.
Yeah, I was well happy with that. Yeah,
On like episode 15 or 16.
yeah, it's pretty much dead on.
Literally, it's dead on. Like, you don't see him. But his evolution through the show is like amazing. As Dougie, Dale Cooper, this crossover where it's the slight bit of vocabulary he picks up.
Yeah.
It's the bit where the guy's confessing to what's his name?
The boss guy.
Yeah, but he's confessing to him, and he's like, "Oh, I need to confess." And then-
Mullins or something. Nolan Mullins or something.
Yeah,
like that.
but then Dale Cooper's obviously stood there, and he goes, confess. It's great.
The timing of everything it says is perfect.
It's genius, like the way that character's built, and the fact that you have to kind of look at it and go, this is Twin Peaks, so this weird stuff's going to happen. Where nobody really picks up on the fact that he's just odd. And I know that they try and explain it by saying that he'd had some kind of accident.
That's it. I think like the guy was already a bit odd anyway,
Yeah.
so no one even thought any different of him.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that he can act like that and not do his job right, really, and just draw on paper and stuff. And nobody bats an eyelid on it. It's just amazing that happens in the show. The Mitchums were a particular highlight for me.
Oh, the Mitchum brothers are amazing.
Yeah, with T-Bag from Prison Break.
And James Belushi as well.
Yeah, they're great. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as they came in, I was thinking, "Oh, like, this is interesting." But as it went on, I was like, "This is just amazing. Like, this is just wacky."
Yeah.
Wacky's probably the wrong word to use,
But it's, I know what you mean, though.
it's
a bit goofy, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
that's the
but-
appeal of it. Like,
And what was the name of the girls? Was it like Sandy, Mandy, and Brandy or something?
Candy or something.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
was
that.
good.
they were great. And then there's the scene where they're all in a conga line. They're all just doing a conga
Yeah, just doing
because
the conga because they've got the insurance
Yeah.
payout.
Yeah,
just it's I don't know, like it feels like in a lot of the moments it's a very charming show. So like I can sit there and I could just watch the whole thing again now, even knowing that I'll probably pick more up on another watch, but knowing that there is so much charm in the characters, I just love it. It's just great.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it on the pod as well. It's quite an earnest. Like, I don't know how Lynch does it. He films things and does it really earnest in a really honest way. Like the scene where Bobby spots Laura's photo in the sheriff's department and starts crying his eyes out. Like,
Yeah.
and any other director trying to get that performance, it just feel weird. But he gets away with these really like earnest performances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That anybody else would feel corny kind of thing. But he just gets away with it when he does it. I don't know how, but
There's there's that episode as well in the middle of the season. I think it's like 8 or 9, but it's basically, I'm sure it was just a sequence of shapes and colours for the first half an hour.
Yeah.
episode 8 that is. Yeah.
Just it's absolutely batshit insane that appeared in the middle of a TV series on, was it CBS? Showtime.
Showtime.
So like for that to be an episode, like, I was watching it, loving it. I was like, this is insane. But you've got to have balls to, or just not care to just do. Oh, sorry, not care about your
The
artistic
reaction,
vision being diluted. That you can put that out and just go, there you go.
Yeah.
Here's the latest episode of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Here's a guy walking around in black and white saying "God a light." Like,
Yeah, follow that if you can. kind
yeah,
of thing, yeah.
I was watching it going, this is mental.
What I find fun about episode 8, it starts quite normally with like Evil Dale and stuff.
Yeah,
And it just turns into that. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I blew me away some of that stuff in that latest
Yeah.
season. But
It's a bit like 2001 or something. But I'm sure the soundtrack on that big explosion bit as well is from like taken from The Shining.
you said that on the show.
So it might be a deliberate Kubrick kind of influence or something.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I did like what I did find strange was I feel like this was the 2017 version of Twin Peaks, but this was like 18 rated, whereas the other Twin Peaks weren't, as far as I know.
Yeah.
They can't have been with some of the stuff that was in the
probably
new one
weren't.
compared to the old one.
I think the film definitely was. So I think this is following on from the film essentially,
Right.
and it's keeping that tone going from the film. So.
There's a lot of stuff that happened in this season that would never have happened in the first 2 seasons. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking, you go back to episode 1, there's the box and the figure that appears and rips off the faces and heads. And like, that's gory.
Like looking back at that now, that was like Evil Dale who paid for that to be built to try and catch. He was trying to catch that evil Chow Day spirit or whatever.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like.
Yeah, but it's like there's so much graphic.
Yeah,
in
violence and
there.
stuff.
Like what's Ike? Was his name Ike the Spike?
Yeah.
The little
Yeah.
murdering dwarf character.
Yeah.
He literally, like, some of that is gruesome.
Yeah, there's one bit when he stabs that woman and he's probably grinding this ice pick in her chest and stuff.
Mad.
And then when he pulls it out when it's broken, he's probably
devastated.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was quite the TV show. I feel like I've been on a journey watching that.
Yeah.
Really is just a journey in that show. I myself don't get it at all. I need to rewatch it, and I probably will get it then. But I think it was more the journey, like you say. I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Lynch agrees with this, but Mark Frost has wrote a book called The Final Dossier, which I read. And it's written from the point of view of Tammy Preston, you know, the female FBI agent in the show. And the book ends with her in Twin Peaks. Can I tell you this? Or?
All right, hang on. Sam, are you going to watch Twin Peaks?
No.
Okay, right. We're going to put a major spoiler warning now here because are we going to talk about the ending?
Yeah.
Okay, right. This is a major Twin Peaks spoiler section.
And in the book, Tammy Preston, sorry.
It would help if you could get the name right.
Picks up a newspaper from the day when Laura Palmer originally got murdered. But the headline is Laura Palmer missing. And she's like, missing? She was murdered. But this is after, in the show, the finale, Dale's gone back and changed what happened. So she's no longer murdered in that timeline. She's now missing because he saved her from being murdered that night because he took her out the woods.
When you say time, like for Tammy didn't change.
Well, this is the thing. The book is written from her point of view, and after that point, she can feel her memories and things around her changing.
Oh, right.
So Dale's changed something by saving her that night. It's literally, the reality's changing around her, and she gets a plane straight out of there because she feels like weird about what's going on. And the further she gets away, her memories come back to normal and stuff, and she's like, "What the fuck was all that about?" But Dale is told by the fireman in like episode 1 or something, this many miles or something. Remember,
430 miles.
Yeah, that's the distance to drive to in the last episode before things change. And it says, remember Richard and Linda, which are the names that him and Diane take on after they go over that mark and stuff like that. So the implication is that when he drives to that certain point, he's changed the entire timeline from that point onwards. Because there's little bits in the final episode. They go into a motel and have a really weird sex scene. They wake up in the morning.
It's the most uncomfortable sex scene I've ever seen.
Yeah. They wake up in the morning, Diane's gone, and he comes out of the motel and it's like a totally different building that he went into. So it's like overnight things have just changed. He's changing things like wherever he goes. So it's like an alternate timeline almost.
Yeah.
That he's created.
Well, this is it. Like, I can see why a lot of people would have found the ending of that show unsatisfying.
Yeah.
I did love it.
I love it.
like Sam, at the end of the show, basically, he finds Laura Palmer in this timeline. You don't know what's going on at this point, do you? Really? No. You just know you're in like a changed timeline is what you think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he takes her back to her old house to reunite her with her mum. And she doesn't live there anymore. And the last thing that gets said is Dale Cooper saying, "What year is it?"
Yeah, it's like, what year is this?
Yeah, what year is this? And she screams, and it's the blood-curdling scream you've heard a few times through the series. Mm. And then it just ends.
All the lights in the house just blow out and it just finishes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's like, I don't really fully understand it, but I don't feel like I need to.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Mark Frost has wrote this book to explain it, but I don't think Lynch would probably agree with that. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't kind of have any correlation between like what they do. He does these books and he does the TV show. Yeah. But Lynch doesn't care about his books, and I don't think he cares about Lynch's TV show kind of thing.
I feel like they're just feeding into the mystery, though, by giving mixed signals.
Exactly, yeah. It's like if you want to believe this explanation or that one kind of thing.
But like, I think it was you, John, who said that you prefer a show that doesn't tie up all the loose ends.
Yeah, well, like, when I was watching it, I was thinking we're finally going to get like a resolution to Twin Peaks, but...
You don't want that?
Yeah, by the time I finished, I realised I never wanted a resolution. No. This is left on a cliffhanger like the last series did 20 years ago, which is what we've now got another 20 years of like debating what the next series is going to be about.
But this is like, as much as I'd want a season 4 of Twin Peaks, I'm quite happy for them to just leave it there.
Yeah, I'm happy.
And just go like, don't do anymore, because I want to go back and revisit and do more on what is going on, but part of me just wants it to just finish and go, right, you're forever going to have to just discuss this, because that's almost the point. Just discussing what could have happened, what can happen.
Yeah, it's almost more fun to do that than to have an actual real answer.
For a show like Twin Peaks, that is what it's about.
Yeah.
This isn't like watching something else that's got like a start and an end point. This doesn't really have a start or an end point or a middle point. It's just stuff that happens, almost.
Can I just throw in a little weird thing here as well? That woman who answers the door at the end, she says, "I'm Mrs. Chalfont or Tremond."
Yeah, I know you're about to raise it because you raised it on your show. But if you want to redo it because it is interesting.
I think we mentioned it on the actual Twin Peaks episode we did for the film. In the film, there's an old lady and a young boy who they live in the locations where people go missing. And in the show they're called Chalfont, and in the film they're called Tremond. It's like they move in wherever anybody like gets pulled into the Black Lodge. They then take over the house, and they're in the house where Laura Palmer's taken back to. But it's a totally different woman. Well, presumably the old lady's died now, I imagine, in real life. But she's like, yeah, Mrs. Tremond or Chalfont, whichever one it is, which implies that something's happened in that house in the meantime, and they've moved in there after something's happened, kind of thing.
It's a top theory. I don't even care if it's
it's just another
accurate or
weird
not.
thing he's thrown out there. Like,
it's just dead interesting. Like,
and just one stat on that woman: she actually lives in the house. She's not an actress.
right?
Yeah, they went to go and film on that location, and she was there like as the house owner. And Lynch was like, "Do you want to be in it? You can answer the door if you want."
You know, like the more I sort of learn about David Lynch, like a lot of his back catalogue passed me by. I've not seen it, but the more I hear about it, the more I just love the guy because
it's great.
I've listened to some of the music he's done. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
He does sound design. He does the music. He does art. Have you seen any of his art?
Yeah, it's actually he calls himself an artist, like first and foremost. Yeah.
Like he's got theories on black and darkness. So it's like there's a lot more depth in black because you know your mind's got to sort of use, you know, you've got to use your imagination and stuff. So a lot of his paintings are a lot darker and a lot blacker. There are a lot of scenes in Twin Peaks which are just more or less black with like highlighted. So you know when he goes back to save Laura, like a lot of that is shot in almost complete darkness. I don't know if it's shot in that, but like the finished product is mostly black, which is amazing. Like
even that in that scene, it's so weird. There's one scene where Laura Palmer, it's like a flashback to Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and young Laura Palmer looks in the bushes behind Mike, is it?
Yeah.
And screams at something in the bushes. But now in the show, you realise it's Dale. It's so weird.
It's just the stuff that this TV series has actually went and done.
Yeah,
it's like finishing off a season by saying I'll see you again in 25 years or whatever that comment was. It was like one of the last things said in Twin Peaks, and then it created this Twin Peaks legacy where it's like a cult TV show, isn't it? And then 25 years later they bring it back. It's absolutely mind bending.
And leave it on another cliffhanger like that.
Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah,
no, it's great. Like, fully enjoyed it. I think we need to do some sort of...
Well, I was going to say, can I throw out an idea? Like, I think we should do Blue Velvet in the future.
I'm up for
which
that.
is like Lynch's film from like the 80s, but it's Cal McLaughlin and Laura Dern who are like Dale and Diane.
That's on my list of things to watch, so I want to watch that.
It's great, Blue Velvet. But
I know Joe's been wanting to watch Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I skipped that one. And I from the small amounts that I picked up from listening to the Twin Peaks podcast series you've done, I admit I skipped the episode about Mulholland Drive. The bits I know combine all of like my favourite things.
Yeah.
And so I kind of need to go watch that because it was one of the best films of that decade, wasn't it?
Yeah, people have called it the best film of the 2000s, I think. Yeah.
So I'm going to go watch that. But I was going to ask you on this show, John, if you could recommend me 3 David Lynch pieces to watch.
Films?
Yeah, like films, TV shows. I'm assuming he didn't do much TV, did he?
No, he did another TV show in the late 90s. But Mulholland Drive should have been a TV show, but it turned into a film.
So I'm gonna watch Mulholland Drive. I want to watch Blue Velvet.
Yeah,
is there another
Mulholland
piece
Drive,
I want to
Blue
watch?
Velvet, Elephant Man is amazing.
So I've watched The Elephant Man, which is amazing.
Eraserhead.
Is that the next on the list that I should be looking at?
Probably that is very like...
Which one's the one with Nicolas Cage in it?
Wild at Heart is that.
Is that any good?
And Laura Dern as well, I think. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, that's really good. Or Lost Highway. That's the most Twin Peak-ish film he's done, I think. Lost Highway.
I'm gonna have to get on them. Like
he did. What was it, 2005? Inland Empire. I've actually not seen that one yet, but
yeah, I looked that one up.
He shot it on digital cameras, so it's gonna look like shit. But
in your opinion,
but so it'd be worth.
Wasn't Twin Peaks season 3 also shot digital?
It was, but it's like the cameras are so like high quality now.
Yeah.
Back in 2005, it was still like a very early format.
Yeah.
And it just looks, it's like 1080p, I think it's shot on basically. So.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but check out Lost Highway. I think it's probably the top one.
Highway.
Just because it's the most Twin Peak-ish. It's not the best, but I'd say...
What's your favourite of them?
Probably Blue Velvet or Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Or Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. That's right up there.
Yeah. No, I'm going to do a bit of a David Lynch sort of go over the next few weeks.
I think you might have mentioned it on the Twin Peaks pod we did. There's a lot of nods to Eraserhead throughout Twin Peaks, like the diamond, chevron floor is from Eraserhead and stuff like that. So,
I loved you had a theory that it was you or Nick, I can't remember, but one of you had the theory that they're all connected in some way.
Well, I said that Mulholland Drive was a secret Twin Peaks film.
Yeah.
I still think that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know what I think of David Lynch stuff when I get around to it.
Yeah.
Nick, are you going to watch Blue Velvet as well?
I'm going to watch them all, to be honest. I want to watch Elephant Man.
Oh, sorry, Dune as well. He did Dune, the big
Right.
sci-fi epic in 1984 that people hated, but I think it's quite interesting. Like,
Is that one that's probably aged and become better with age?
I think it's become better with age. It's Cal MacLachlan again, who's the hero in the film. So
Does
Sting's
he
the
just
bad
hire
guy.
Kyle MacLachlan for every film he does?
He did back then, yeah. Well, they fell out on Twin Peaks Firewalk with me.
I didn't know
and
that.
that's why his role was so small, because
Yeah.
he didn't want to come back after he felt Lynch had abandoned the TV show because he was less and less involved. So they had a bit of a fallout, but they've clearly made up over the years. So.
But yeah, I plan on watching them all, when I get the chance. So, yeah.
Yep.
Might just start from his earliest works and work my way forward.
I think Eraserhead's his first real film, so yep.
Down for that.
Yeah. He's not done much recently, has he? Film-wise.
I think Inland Empire was his last film.
I know he's not directed anything, but that one I was talking about last week, on the last show, should I say, with Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, that was it. Lucky.
Lucky, yeah, he was in it. He didn't direct it. Someone with the surname Lynch directed it.
Yeah, John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah.
He was in something else as an actor. One you were saying.
He was in the founder. He played
the founder.
When I listened up, he played Mac McDonald, the founder of
Right.
McDonald's.
Cool. Yeah, we should do a Twin Peaks special at some point, just like a recap almost.
John suggested. I think you suggested this on the finale of our show, didn't you? That but we'll go back and watch it and do a recap.
Do a catch up.
We just never got round to doing that, did we?
Yeah.
Anniversary show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a few listeners out there for it. So.
Yeah, I think you probably feel different about that as time's gone on, because it's probably settled more in your head about the scenario of what Twin Peaks is.
Yeah. Just one final thing on Twin Peaks. People say it's a weird ending. It's got no closure. There's a good ending for Dougie. Dougie comes back and he's with his family. That's a nice happy ending.
Yeah,
So.
I like that ending. I appreciate
that's
that. I saw it in that last episode, and it was the tiniest thing, and it was dead early in the episode. And I said to myself, "That's the last you're seeing of Dougie.
Yeah,
you are not seeing Dougie again."
Just opens the door and just goes,
You've watched Dougie for a full season, and then the payoff is literally just a 20-second thing at the end. It's he's happy now.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, it was a good watch. Recommend it if anyone's not watched it. Any other TV stuff?
Can I mention something really quickly? It's just a dead quick one. I watched a show on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. I don't know if you've seen it on there, but
I've seen the little picture and the blurb of it. It looks quite interesting.
it's 4 episodes. They do G.I. Joe, He-Man, Star Wars and Barbie. And it's just the story of how they got made and stuff, but I hate the whole production of the show. The intro and stuff is just dreadful. And they do these weird little reconstructions at the start of the episode, as if you're watching the toys being made back in the 70s or whatever. Yeah. And that's just dreadful as well. But the actual story of the actual toys being made is actually quite interesting. Yeah. I collected all those, apart from Barbie, obviously. I collected all those at the time when they came out as a kid.
Cindy.
Yeah, I was into Cindy. Yeah, but it's interesting because people look back at it now as being a really precious thing. They're like, these toys, they're so great. I wish I could have been around in the 80s to collect them all and stuff like that. But when you see the making of them, they're just taking Fisher Price toys to actually make the toys. The whole Star Wars line was literally the designer took Fisher Price toys and just moulded them and just shaved some stuff off it. I was like, yeah, there's Obi-Wan. I took it to the toy manufacturers were like, yeah, that's fine, we'll make them. You know what I mean? It's quite interesting just to see how there's nothing precious about the actual invention of these toys. It was just take Fisher Price toys, melt them down, and there you go.
I think they become more precious after time, though, don't they? Because people get nostalgic about that type of thing. They go, "Oh, do you remember 1985?" That's what people are like.
Yeah, just a nostalgia thing. Yeah. I just find it interesting. Oh, Barbie started out as the woman who invented Barbie was in Germany and found not a sex doll. That's not the right word, but it was a doll based around a cartoon character who was a stripper and stuff. So it's a really risque thing, like this toy. And it wasn't for kids, it was a weird, mail away from in newspaper for it or something, and it's this weird stripper doll. And the inventor of Barbie took that doll and again just like cut the cheeks off and stuff, cut the nipples off, and just put clothes on it. Literally just filed the nipples off, put clothes on it. It's like, yeah, Barbie, we'll sell that as a kid's toy kind of thing. Right. Yeah, I just find it interesting.
It's interesting.
The evolution of these toys kind of thing. So the show on the whole, it's a crap, badly made show, but there's some interesting stuff in there, make it worth watching. Yep.
It's usually Channel 5 that just gets these kind of...
it feels like a Channel 5 show.
It's like, right? I think they had one over Christmas and it was like about Lego and how Lego was made. That's quite interesting. But again, it was like Channel 5, you had like talking heads just talking about like...
I can't stand them.
Z-list people that only Channel 5 can get. Like.
Yeah.
It'd be like the fourth member of Goldie Looking Chain. Yeah. It won't be like the one anyone knows. They'll be like...
Or like June Sarpong or something who's not been on TV for like 50 years or something.
Janet Street Porter.
They always shot her around.
Danny Dyer's always on him.
Yeah. He's also for a paycheck, isn't he?
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, right. Related to TV then, have we got any more TV shows before we move on to this? No.
Nope.
Superbowl was on at time of recording last night.
Yeah.
And there were a few adverts in the middle where you pay a lot of money for it. Westworld was one on there. Have we all watched the trailer for the
I've seen it,
Westworld?
I've not seen it. I hope you guys can fill me in.
Yeah, me and Nick have watched it, haven't we? I don't know. I loved season 1.
Season 1 was amazing, but like I've watched this season 2 trailer and it doesn't give anything away. It doesn't show anything that... I mean, there might be like the odd tiny snippet from the season 2, but it feels like they've just kind of put some scenes from season 1 in, and then they've just put a voiceover on it.
Yeah, like a teaser almost.
Yeah, it's more of a teaser rather than an actual trailer. But I don't know. I think they might have rushed this season just a bit too much. I know it's been like a couple of years now, but I was hoping for like a 2019, 2020 release or something.
I mean, I didn't watch season 1, but I thought the point of season 2 that they took 2 years or so they didn't rush it like so many shows do and ruin the second season.
To be fair,
True Detective is like I think an example you would agree with.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've told the story of Westworld though, because the way I'm looking at it, I watched that trailer. It's basically like the rise of the machines type thing, and I just can't be bothered with a big robot battle in the Wild West. I'm just not interesting.
That's totally what I was going to mention then. Like, this is basically Jurassic Park. It's by the same author and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like literally, he wrote Westworld and thought, I could put dinosaurs in it, and wrote Jurassic Park like 20 years later. And my issue with Jurassic Park and with this series is that it's like, where do you go after the first one? And like, Jurassic Park, great film. Part 2, it's like, why would you ever go back to that island? It's filled full of killer dinosaurs. Like, do you know what I mean? And it gets really hard to find reasons to send people back to these islands and stuff. And again, for this one, like, where do you go after series 1? The robots revolt. It's like, what now? Like,
the show, what was the lady who left? She got out, she got on a train. And
Thandie Newton, I forgot about her,
So she basically turns back at the place by the looks of things.
Oh, right.
Wearing like a big, scarf type deal. Like, I'm going off a hazy memory here, but she basically turns up and it's like, look, I'm the leader of the machines. It's like, not interested. Just go back to playing the piano or whatever you were doing. Like, you've told the story of Westworld, and I'm really worried now that they're going to do a show which is going to be probably a well-written show, but the premise is just going to be, look, we're killer machines.
Yeah.
I'm just not. That's not. I don't know where you could go, but
I don't know. Like I said, the interesting thing for me about these shows is watching it run like a theme park and seeing actual visitors go there. Yeah. And you're not going to see that now because the theme park's dead, kind of thing. So exactly the same with Jurassic Park. Where do you go after the first one?
I really am. I'm worried about how that's going to go down.
No, like Sam said, it might go the way of True Detective, and another HBO show that fails at season 2.
Yeah.
Is there ever going to be another one season wonder TV show? Because anything that does well in its first season, it's always going to have a season 2, isn't it? It's like they're never going to be happy with it. I don't think. Right?
I can't vouch for it. I think Nick's watched it, but I've not. But I believe Fargo does a really good job of the anthology thing of doing more than one series of TV. We were saying in work today, like American Crime Story started up again, and it just doesn't interest me at all. Series 2.
Yeah, I watched that one. I watched the first episode of it anyway, and it's Versace, is it?
Versace, the murder of Versace.
Yeah, Versace when he got murdered, and I was just not interested in the episode at all. I was bored the whole way through, so I've not carried on watching it. But
So I'm just hoping that this doesn't go the way of that and True Detective. I know it's a podcast, but Serial Series 2, whenever they do like these anthology crime things, they have trouble following up, I think. I mean, Serial Series 2 was garbage.
You say like Fargo pulled it off. Like I thought I don't know if you've seen any of season 2 or 3 yet, Sam. No, but I mean, I really enjoyed season 2, and season 3 is supposed to be really good, but I've not managed to get back on that.
I watched episode 1 of season 2, and I was pretty bored up till I think the very last scene. I was like, wow, that's like. But I think I was watching so much other stuff at the time. I was like, I'll come back to that, and I've not gone back to it yet. But
like, maybe I can vouch for season 2. Season 2 is actually. I mean, it's no season 1, but it's still an amazing season. But, season 3, it's got what's his name in it?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Yeah. So they've pulled out all the punches for that season. But like, I've not seen that one myself. But American Horror Story as well, that they've done quite a good job at anthologies. Like, they've pretty much pulled it off season after season.
There's a few interesting things with American Horror Story. Like, they do tell a different story every time, and it's the same actors playing different characters. I like that. It's bold.
It's a different style to do, and it keeps it familiar but fresh at the same time. That you almost know what you're getting, but it's a different story. Like,
they've always got a completely different theme.
It's got to be quite an interesting acting gig as well for the actors, because like season after season they're coming back and they're playing a completely different character. That's got to be like change from most acting gigs, to be fair.
Probably a satisfying job doing that one.
Not going to get like typecast into sort of like you did this show for 10 years where Joey's always going to be Joey.
No, you raised a good point there. I was just thinking about it. It's like, how can anything just be a one season thing anymore? It just can't. Like,
they'll always be planning.
But then, like, that's why I look at Twin Peaks and go, I know they probably had the same thing happen there where they did a season 2, which a lot of that probably didn't need to happen. Yeah. But he came back and did season 3 and was like, yeah, that's it. That's all I'm doing.
And we mentioned Ozark. I wish that was a one series thing. Like, I feel like they're dragging it out where they don't need to, kind of thing.
Prison Break, look at that. Prison Break should have stopped after the first season.
Well, that's a bit like the Jurassic Park thing.
Exactly, this is the same.
Prison Break, keep it in the prison. It's in the name.
Prison, right. Westworld might go the same way with Prison Break. You finally do the thing that it's named after. Westworld, Prison Break.
Yeah.
You're done with that. What do you do after that? Prison Break, they just fucked about for it felt like they just fucked about for 3 seasons to the point where they broke back into a prison to break back out. It's like,
it's like give up now.
Westworld, they're going to end up taking over Samurai World, and then it'll be like, oh, are we going to get out of Samurai World? Like, it's just, I don't know.
I mean, I think writers just need to put the foot down and go, like, I'm not this. That's fine by me, but the probably offers either so much money by a network or Netflix or Amazon or whatever like that. Or
if you offer me
Netflix or Amazon own the actual sort of like the rights to the show, then they just get another writer in and just do season 2, and it's just a cash cow then.
Yeah. If you offered me millions of pounds to do Don't Spoil the End in season 2, I would be doing it. The quality would drop, but I'd be running to the bank. Right, okay.
You were just talking Super Bowl trailers, though, and we've only covered the one. We've covered the one.
So what else was on during the Super Bowl?
Well, you were talking Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Lost World,
Fallen Kingdom or something.
Fallen Kingdom.
And that's a dreadful title to start off with, like Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom.
That aired on the Super Bowl. It's weird because like there's dinosaurs in people's houses and stuff. So
I don't get that.
I can't figure out like how they've got from the island to the houses.
Not just in houses. There's a kid in a bed with a duvet pulled up around the neck, and the dinosaur like big claw comes in and pulls the duvet down like a creeper dinosaur. It's really weird.
And they've brought back that dinosaur which follows Chris Pratt's lead.
Oh, Blue. Yeah.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
And have we turned into the people now who just anything that's a sequel? It's like, nah,
Cynical.
because I'm listening to you saying that, and I'm like, not interested.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like,
again, sorry, going back to that, like Chris Pratt's back in the film, and the daughter of Bryce Dallas Howard is back. It's like, why on earth would he go back to that island? It's a fucking nightmare. Like, you want to just survive the last time, and they're only going back to save dinosaurs. That's the plot of the film.
but this is a rebooted. This is a sequel of a rebooted series.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's just.
I mean,
it's just
the-
for the money.
Yeah,
Yeah, the first one, like, didn't it make like a shed load of money? Like,
yeah, it's like still like the fourth biggest film of all time. I
So,
think,
like, they're going to carry on making them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think it was South Park that said a couple of seasons ago, everything's just a reboot of everything else now. It's just, we live in an age where Westworld's not even an original TV show. It's based on is it a book on the
based
film?
on a book, but it was a film based on a book originally.
Right. Just come up with a new idea.
And then Jurassic World's like a reboot of Westworld.
Jurassic World is a reboot of Westworld and also a reboot of
Jurassic
the original Jurassic Park, which had a load of shit sequels to it. And now they're doing another sequel to a rebooted. Forget it.
I mean, you're saying come up with a fresh idea. There was a trailer which dropped at the Super Bowl, which supposedly was a fresh idea, featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, Skyscraper.
Skyscraper. It's a completely original idea, supposedly. But have you seen a trailer for
I
it?
don't know.
Basically,
what is it
like there's I'm pretty sure it rings a bell for me, so it might for you.
It's not Rampage, this is it.
But basically, they built a skyscraper which has got like it's basically a city in a skyscraper, and I think like people try and rob it, and it starts burning and stuff like that, and yeah,
It took a turn.
yeah. It's supposed to be a completely original idea though. So
Okay,
Sounds a bit
sound-
like the Tower Inferno to me, but I'll throw that out.
No, I like the sound of that.
yeah, I
haven't
mean it's got the
seen it.
Rock in it, so I'm down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know with The Rock sometimes because I look at it and go, this isn't going to be like a heartfelt film. This is going to be an action rock film, and I have to be in the right mood for that.
The final one I want to talk about from the Super Bowl anyway is Mission Impossible. That trailer dropped.
Yep.
Yep.
Reboot.
Well, no, technically this is still part of the actual series. This is part 6.
So I've never seen any Mission
Oh,
Impossible.
really?
No, I haven't.
It all ties in the series.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones, but I watched the trailer today and it looks pretty good actually.
Looks great. The last one was fantastic.
And me and John were talking today. There's a scene in the trailer where he jumps over a gap between buildings, and like kind of falls onto the side. And while he filmed that scene, he actually broke his ankle and carried on filming, didn't he? With a broken
you
ankle.
see him bounce off the other wall, kind of thing, in the trailer. And like, there's his ankle gone. You go, it snap like.
I respect the guy's work ethic.
Oh yeah!
I mean, like-
in the last one, he actually got strapped to the side of like a Boeing 747 and got
Mental.
took off with him on it. Like, it's like I love Tom Cruise as an actor. I think he'll give his all for a film. Like,
Yeah.
Well, talking of Tom Cruise, have you heard the news of him like reportedly leaving? Well, he's not yet, but he might be leaving Scientology.
I only know
Never
because you
leave
told me.
Scientology.
Well, well, apparently it's a source close to him has come out and said that he's going to leave it because he wants to reconnect with his daughter, who he's not seen since 2012, so 6 years. I don't know how old she'll be now, but apparently he's going to broker a deal with Scientology so that they'll let him leave and he won't reveal any of their secrets.
Yeah, it's just going to be like Tom Cruise saying, "Look, we'll sign this, and I leave. You don't tell him. I won't tell him about the either." So.
I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, beat that out.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I think he'll probably just give him a massive paycheck as well, won't he? He'll be like, "Here's $1 billion,
Yeah.
and I'm off."
And he'll become the new Nicolas Cage and star in every film under the sun after that, just
Yeah.
to pay them off, probably.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, like, was there any more trailers you wanted to
Just
talk
one more.
about?
Like Mission Impossible looks great, looks fantastic. Same director as the last one. I'm sure it'll be great. The new Star Wars film Solo. I think it looks like shit. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but no colour to the trailer whatsoever. It just looks dreadful. It's going to be a bomb.
I did watch it. one bit that stood out for me, I heard you saying it yourself earlier. Chewie just looked really weird.
Yeah, Chewie looks like shit in it. Yeah, it's like a Halloween costume or something. Some kids thrown on or something.
Big hairy shit.
But it's got Amelia Clark in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a dreadful actress anyway. So.
Fair enough.
I mean,
You would definitely turn the cynicism on.
Yeah, I mean, she looks great and everything, but I just think she's an
Dreadful
actress
actress in an unneeded sequel.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to Solo. Yep.
I saw a thing today. I don't know where I've seen it. Maybe you posted it actually. But it was someone put a thing saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for the Darth Vader a story of kind of thing," and the Star Wars, the official Twitter of Star Wars, came going. Episodes 1 to 6 are available now on Blu-ray and DVD.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was quite funny.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, should we just move on to films then?
Sounds good.
Go on.
Anybody else got anything first, or
All I've got is the main film this week, which is Manchester by the Sea.
cool?
I'll quickly mention one film that I watched. I watched Downsizing, the Matt Damon film.
Yeah, directed by Alexander Payne, who's done like loads of good work over the
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yep.
Is this basically Honey, I Shrunk Matt Damon?
Yep.
Essentially, yeah. I'm not good. Like I know Inman wants to watch it. I believe you've got a story as to how you've.
Oh no! All I was going to say is I've seen the trailer in the cinema, so I was like, oh, I want to watch that. So anyway, in Lanzarote, they on TV they had like a dodgy box, like a Cody style kind of thing.
Right.
I only realised this on the last night. But they had like they had the Shape of Water on there, Downsizing, and they had like loads of stuff on there, and I was like, yeah, I kind of wish I'd watched.
Kind of wished I'd spent my time in Lanzarote watching films.
Well, it was raining.
But yeah, it's I quite liked it, but I can imagine why people wouldn't like it. It's a weird concept though, a very very weird concept.
Yeah, it's about like saving space and stuff.
Yeah, essentially, people voluntarily get themselves irreversibly shrunk to 5 inches tall in order to save the planet because everyone's using resources at such a high rate. And but the interesting thing is when you get shrunk, like say that you've got £1,000 or dollars, that's like millions because you're so small.
Yeah,
I thought that was just quite interesting. But
Can I ask how scientifically they're shrinking the people?
I mean, it's quite a weird one. They just put them into. To be fair, they don't actually tell you how it happens at the beginning.
So there's no science behind it.
No, at the beginning, like.
So I've got to sit there and believe that they've just shrunk Matt Damon.
If there was science behind it, they'd be doing it in real life.
Fair point. But I want to know what the bullshit science
There was
is.
like a rat or something that they accidentally put in some oven or something at the beginning.
Okay.
And then some guy came out and went, "Oh my god, yay!" And then when it was the people, they just took all the fillings out, shaved all their hair off, and then put them in a big oven. And it was
What if you had like a hip replacement?
that actually got removed as well, yeah. Well, no, if you've got a hip replacement, I don't think you were allowed to get shrunk.
so anything like fillings won't shrink, so you have to have them.
Well, apparently they explained it in the film. Sorry, that someone didn't have the filling removed and the head exploded.
Bit of a problem.
Yeah. But there's like this woman in it that Matt Damon kind of spends a lot of time with, like throughout the film, and so there's just some weird things that happen between the two of them, and you just don't expect it. And it just felt really just shoved in there. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about the film.
Well, only a small issue.
I don't want to spoil it.
What are you rating it though?
I mean, I don't know, 3 out of 5.
Fair enough. Yep.
It looks like a pretty just easy watch and sort of like it's
definitely
not
an
like
easy
something you're gonna be over the moon with going seeing, but it's something that's on. And
It was
sort of
definitely an
bit of
easy
fun in
watch.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done some great stuff in the past, like Election with Reese Witherspoon and Matthew Broderick. That's like an awesome film. And he did The Descendants like 5 years ago or something with George Clooney. But just from what I've heard of reviews, this isn't as good as his best work kind of thing. So we'll check it out at some point though. You guys got anything else you want to go into?
No, by all means, go ahead.
Just do this dead quick. I watched The Kingsman this week while I was dying. I just thought, shut the Kingsman
Circle.
on. Golden Circle, yeah, the new one. I remember seeing the trailers thinking it looked like garbage. And Jono at work was saying like, "Oh, it's great, yeah, it's really good." So that was a warning sign. But I checked it out this week, and it is actually quite fun. It's just way too long. It's like 2.5 hours long.
I think I've seen the first half an hour of that film, and that was it.
Really, the new one or the old?
Oh, the old one.
The old one.
Yeah.
I quite like
You
the
on
old
about the
one.
new one?
Yeah, the old one's quite fun. The new one though, it's actually better than I thought. It's quite fun. Like it fits
I
in the
enjoyed
universe.
it, and there's like a lot of screen time for what's his name, the singer,
Oh, Elton John.
Elton John. Yeah.
I've got to admit, that's what the bit I don't like. When
That was a random turn. Like, is Elton John in it?
Elton
Yeah.
John was literally karate kicking people and stuff.
All
But like
right.
turning to camera when he's doing it, like with a big cheesy grin on his face, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bit too far, maybe." And he's actually playing Saturday Night's the Night for Fighting and stuff when he's fighting people. Yeah, it's quite funny actually.
It's quite funny to be fair.
Yeah, all the action's great. It just goes on way too like there's a big patch in the middle where nothing happens, kind of thing. So, but yeah, decent sequel. It's about like 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 candles in the wind.
Yep. And the only other one I've watched, I've been playing a lot of Doom recently on the Switch, hammering Doom on the Switch, playing Doom on the PS4.
Did you watch
playing,
the Doom film?
I'm playing Doom 3 on PS3, Doom 3 BFG edition. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to go back. Going to reappraise Doom from 2005. Going to explain why this is a misunderstood gem. So I watched it this week and it's absolute shit. It's even worse than I remember it being. It's
That
absolute
was
garbage.
one of The Rock's earlier films.
Yeah, well,
wasn't
you
it?
mentioned him before, and I think you might mention that you're not always in the mood for like a Rock film or something.
yeah.
This is The Rock before he even realised himself
What he was
doing. Like, yeah, he didn't have his charisma or anything like it. He's just dreadful in this.
He's
film.
always had charisma.
I don't think he has in this film.
Maybe not Doom. But
But
we're
he's-
talking Scorpion King levels of Rock.
Yeah, this isn't Scorpion King levels.
Okay.
This is the bad guy in this as well, which you don't make The Rock the bad guy. You know. Yeah, it's just dreadful. A couple of things they get right. They bring out the BFG. Don't know if you've seen it before, if you remember this at all.
Big
Yeah,
friendly.
I do remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, they bring out the BFG and like the tannoy system is like the biofusion gun. It's like no big fucking gun, and that's quite good when he's blown through walls with it and stuff. And there's one like bit where Carl Urban is the hero in it, and he has a whole section where he's doing like a first-person shooter
remember this,
for like 5 minutes. It's just like through his eyes kind of thing with a gun right there. It's like that's a good idea. It's done horribly in the film, but it's an interesting idea. But the film's garbage. They don't even go to hell. They don't even get the elements of Doom right in the film. It's just some like weird mutation that causes people to turn to zombies on this Mars facility. It's like no, it's hell. You go to hell in Doom. That's the whole point.
Well, now they've rebooted the game. Maybe they'll reboot the film.
Hopefully, get the Rock back to do it
Get
properly
the
this
Rock,
time.
yeah.
Make him the hero. You're not making the bad guy. But yeah, it's like I'm being generous. 2 out of 5. It's probably worse than
I mean,
that.
to be fair, The Rock is rebooting every film series under the sun at the moment.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we might actually do a Doom reboot.
And after he saved like Fast and Furious and G.I. Joe, he got called Franchise Viagra by some
Yeah.
like studio head or something. So yeah, he could come back and save it. Yep.
Had you, speaking of The Rock, who was a wrestler, have you seen John Cena's being linked with the Duke Nukem starring role?
Oh really? I can actually see that.
I have seen
I
that,
can't
yeah.
see it, me.
Blonde,
Like,
just bleach that little fuzz on his head blonde. It's
he's being linked with it, but I thought he's just not got the acting style for it. He's more of a comedy actor, and he can't do.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem's like you can't do a 2018 like style Duke Nukem because he was outdated back when he came out.
I feel like you can if you do it that way. If you do it in an ironic way.
You've got to
Like-
change. You got to change it completely.
Like, do
He's
you know
a
that, like-
family type of guy, and he like
Oh, that's what I mean. It'd have to be like an 18 rated film and stuff.
you can't have John Cena playing that role.
Have you seen like Evil Dead and Army
He's
of
not gruff
Darkness?
enough either.
They'll think like Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. Like Duke Nukem is based on Ash from that game. Basically, all of his one-liners on the game come from Ash from like like Hail to the King and stuff like that, and Give Me Some Sugar Baby, all that stuff. It's all just Ash from the Evil Dead, and even Ash back then was ironically like a crude hero. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I think if you do it in that vein, they could get away with it. But
I've just never been a fan of Duke Nukem.
I used to love Duke Nukem. That was the first
You
game.
would. it's just like I don't know. I don't think it fits in this day and age like, at all.
I think if you do it ironically, it could do. You know, like it's everything the hero shouldn't be, kind of thing. Like,
I don't know. It's just very unlikable. Like, did you ever see that game that came out recently, the Duke Nukem reboot?
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, because that was dog shit.
Yeah, that was real. I mean, that was in like, development for 20 years. That game, and it was just like it was always a bad idea.
I remember picking that up from CX, And like the guy behind the counter literally told me, "No, you won't like this game." I was like, "No, I'll like it."
Give me the game.
I was like, I always like games that everyone hates. I literally played it for all of 2 seconds. I was like, "This is crap."
Yeah.
I think he's a hero for the edgy teenager. That's all he is. Like,
Edgy 90s teenager.
yeah, exactly. So the edgy teenagers now would look at it and go, "Who's this granddad?" Like, so
Well,
yeah,
like,
John Cena got linked with it, but I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he's the right person for it. He's
Yeah,
too nice.
I think you need somebody who's The Rock. Get The Rock in to play Duke
The Rock
Nukem
could
as
probably
well.
do a better job of it. Yeah.
Get Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren. But just to sum up Duke Nukem, like that game, Duke Nukem Forever, came out in a special edition called the Balls of Steel edition, and that just says everything you need to know about Duke Nukem in that edition.
It's just tired, isn't it? Like, yeah. Right, okay. Have you got any more films?
I'm done.
We all done?
I've got a couple. I watched Concussion on the plane to Lanzarote, starring Will Smith. Was that
a
a
copy as well, was it? Is that
Don't
one?
think so. I
Oh,
think
I'm thinking of one.
Focus are you thinking
I
of
am
maybe?
sorry. Carry on.
No, Concussion. Concussion is like the NFL.
Yeah.
Sort of.
The doctor in
The
City.
doctor looks into sort of like the head injuries and why the players are going sort of so mad and everything like that. Really interesting film. Sort of like. Again, it's one of those films where you go, well, how much liberty do they take in the meetings and what they say to each other and all that kind of thing. It's like, but it seems to be pretty played off, like quite straight, and this is fairly factual of what kind of like what's happening and stuff like that in the game, what was looked into. It's a good film. Pretty.
Can I ask, what do you think of Will Smith's accent in the film? Because he got a lot of flack for the accent.
What accent's he doing?
Nigerian, and it's like there's
Right.
one bit when he's losing the plot in a courtroom. He's like, "Tell me the truth, tell me the truth."
I didn't know he was going into this with an accent, so when I first heard it, I was a bit like,
You're like, Will Smith sounds different today. It's Will Smith had a concussion.
because Will Smith does do some like the serious roles and stuff like that, but he doesn't do accents. And
Yeah.
I wasn't going to associate Will Smith with doing an accent in a movie. So when I heard it, I was quite surprised.
Bit taken aback.
I think he plays it pretty well. It's not dreadful. I don't think.
Do you not
I
think?
it comes across okay.
I've got to admit, I saw the trailer when it came out, and just hearing him doing that whole "tell me the truth, tell me the truth," it actually put me off watching it. I was like, I don't think I could watch Will Smith doing that for 2 hours.
There are moments like that where you're going, why,
Yeah.
why are you doing this like so much? But like, I think the majority of the film it's passable.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I just need a 5-minute clip of that film, just him just doing the Nigerian accent. Quite happy with that.
Good news for your jokes. A lot of YouTube videos out there.
Great.
For you.
Straight on that.
But it's worth noting as well, that film was a bit infamous because Will Smith's wife at the Oscars called out the Oscars saying, like, you know, it's ridiculous, you've got no black nominees this year. My husband in Concussion, what about him? And everyone was like, really? Like, have you seen that film? Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's a good film, but it's not great. Or
Yeah, not Oscars worthy kind of thing.
No, definitely not. Good film. I did like it, and it does raise some like interesting questions about the NFL, which I know you like, and you watch Superbowl
Yeah, I mean,
and
is
whatever
it,
like that.
again, like you mentioned the other week, it might make a better documentary than an actual feature film kind of thing, because the actual subject matter is much more interesting taken on its own terms, I think.
Which leads me on to my next film.
Oh,
Steve Jobs.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's another. Well,
Can I just ask, does Steve Jobs do a Nigerian accent at all?
he doesn't.
That'll be the tough.
Now, this one you're talking about is the Fassbender one.
Yes.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Is this the
Yeah.
best one?
I think so.
Oh,
This for me is like film of the year when it came out.
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, and oh.
Oh, go on.
I didn't really like this film.
Oh, what?
Is the structure of the film is split into like the three what is said to be key parts of Jobs.
Yeah.
Just so happens to be the 30 minutes before 3 keynote speeches, which I find like I don't know that's for me not going down as like the 3 key bits.
I mean, there's massive liberty taken with the truth in this. Like,
This is where I was going with it. In Concussion, it's fine. It seems pretty before this is what happened. In Steve Jobs, I'm like, there's no way all this happened in the half an hour before you went out and did like a keynote
Definitely
speech.
not.
I was like, this is crazy. Like,
that doesn't bother me. Like, I'm more bothered with this film. It feels like they're bending the truth and stuff and taking liberty to get at something, to try and get at what Steve Jobs was like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm fine with them doing that. If you're going to get to that end result, which I think they do, I'm fine with them taking a lot of liberty with.
I didn't really know much about Steve Jobs before going in, which might sound like a bit of a crazy thing, but I'm not an Apple fanboy or like even that up on Apple or anything like that, and like so therefore didn't watch his speeches or know much about him, and he doesn't come across very well.
I mean, he definitely doesn't, but that's almost the point. He was a git, like.
But I just there were times where I was like, this is stretching it too much, and it's sort of it's a bit too far. And maybe, I mean, there are documentaries, plenty of documentaries and YouTube videos and whatever about Steve Jobs and books and whatever. Danny Boyle directed it, and it seems like almost very artistic in a way at the end. Like,
do you think so? I think it's one of his more like straightforward films. You know what I mean? Like, there's not any kind of like directing flourishes or anything. It's just literally pointing the camera at Fassbender for 2 hours. But
I mean, there are some moments, but I mean, that almost plays into sort of like, well, Apple's a very artistic brand, and he was a designer really. He didn't do much of the technological work, which was Wozniak's job, and which that comes across well in the film. Everything like that. The side stories between Wozniak and the other, was it Andy Hertzfeld?
Hertzfeld, yeah. But again, like you mentioned, there's no way that before every conference he had an argument with Steve Wozniak in front of the whole conference kind of thing. But again, for dramatic purpose, I think it works fine, kind of thing.
The artistic bit, which really got to me, was right at the end when he's on stage, and I think he's looking across to the side of the stage, and all the flashes and everything like that, but it goes in slow motion, and it's like you have all there's supposed to be photography, like phone flashes, but it's obviously not. It's way over the top, sort of like almost like theatre production, sort of like. I was just like, it's not. Really? Another stretch. One of the final scenes in the film was when his daughter, possible daughter, is in the. She's going to the car, and he just throws out there, "I'm going to put 100 songs in your pocket," because she's carrying this Walkman. Which
he's got to throw the iPod in there. Yeah.
I was like, again.
I'm not a big fan of that bit. I admit that's a bit too forced.
Is this just a big marketing film?
No, not at all. If anything, Apple looked dreadful, I think, at the end of this film.
I think he said those things, like, I'm going to put 100 songs in your pocket, 1,000 songs, between 500 and 1,000 songs. Like, I believe he said those words, but not in that,
not that
environment or anything like that, or in that way. Because that's way
I
too,
definitely
way
agree
too
with
good
that
to make
bit.
a film about.
That's a bit pandering. That it's just where it's like, yep, don't forget I made the iPod. Like, yeah.
Do you think deep down there's a better film in here that, like, it's worse because it's got the Apple logo on it? So, like, generally with Apple stuff, it's overhyped by Apple fanboys, John, and like you can do everything cheaper and the same stuff, but it's more expensive because it's got an Apple logo on it. Do you think this film, if it didn't have anything to do with Apple, might have been a better film?
See, I don't think it does paint Apple in a good light. Like Steve Jobs, there's bits in this film. Do you remember the bit where he's talking to John Scully after he's finally made up with him at the end? And he explains to him about how he is an orphan, Steve Jobs, and he actually found his real live father, and he's like a restaurant owner. Yeah. And he went one night to see him, but didn't tell him that he's his son. And John Scully says, "Why didn't you tell him?" It's like, "So if I did, he'd probably find something to sue me for." And like, you know what I mean? And even John Scully's like, "Oh, Steve, like, honestly," you know what I mean? It doesn't paint him in a good light whatsoever. Like,
he's all about himself. And
yeah,
I mean,
like that. Like he finds his birth father, and like he can't bring himself to tell him because he thinks he's going to sue him for something.
He basically says, like, well, the chances of the test, like, it could have been 28% of the US population that could have slept with this woman. It was like, she was like, "You can't say that about me." Like,
yeah, you're saying I've slept with 28% of the US. It's like, no, possibly. But even in that first section with his young daughter, he calls his first computer the Lisa, which is the name of the girl who he's claiming isn't his daughter. And the girl's like, "Oh, you called it after me," and it's like, "No, it's a coincidence. I didn't call after you." This little girl's like, "Oh."
He sounds like a bit of a dick.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Because he's dead now, so you can't libel him dead.
Yeah.
So.
Later on, when she grows up, she's like, "You could have just lied to me." Like,
Yeah.
sort of. But then, right at the end of the film, at the same time as him telling her that he's going to put 500 to 1,000 songs in her pocket, he says, "No, it was named after you." At the same
I believe that was artistic.
Yeah, that was never confirmed.
I don't think that actually ever happened.
So even the nice part, just artistic, artistic license.
Yeah. Like there's one bit where that Andy Hertzfeld saying to him, they have like a big fallout when it's like, "You know what? I've never cared for you," to Steve Jobs. And Jobs is like, "Oh, it's a shame, I've always really liked you." Hertzfeld's like, "Really?"
It does, in the three sections of the film, it does a good job of telling the story of how Steve Jobs became who he was in his career, not as a person. He was always like that.
Yeah.
And it gives good backstory and sort of like, it doesn't bore you with detail or anything like that. It does a good enough job of telling the story, but I just wasn't blown away by it or thought it was that good a movie. Really.
There's just one of the quote as well that really like sums him up, where I think Kate Winslet, I think she's great in the film as well. She's saying to him like, "Why do you want people to hate you?" And it's like, "I don't want people to hate me. I just don't care if they do."
Yeah.
And that's just Steve Jobs. You know what I mean? Like, that's his whole character.
She's got an accent in this.
Yeah, she's Polish, isn't she?
Nigerian.
Yeah, but that drifts in and out of. She doesn't do a very good job of that.
I think she's quite good in this.
Yeah, I thought in the whole section one, I thought like her accent didn't come across, and in the section two, I was like, hang on, she's
Polish.
I think for Jobs, I'm giving it a 3 maybe as a rating.
Not a 5.
Not a 5. Concussion, I'll go back to that. Give that a 3.5. Good enough film, but it's not.
Oh, John, you
Not
don't look
better than
happy.
Jobs. Not better than Jobs.
I preferred Concussion over Jobs.
Sam's put Will Smith's Nigerian accent above that film that you love.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. We could have done Steve Jobs as a main film. That'd have been good. That. Didn't even think of that.
No, it wouldn't.
All right. Have you got any more, Sam?
No.
Okay. Should we move on to our main film? Or have you got one?
Forgot about the game. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Sam. Would you like to introduce the next segment?
Joe's favourite time of the podcast.
Yep.
It's I do enjoy it, to be honest.
All right, Joe.
Right, let me get the sting ready. There we go.
Time to play. Actors whose birthdays are today. Guess the age.
Yeah.
Snappy.
Trips off the tongue.
I think that's the first time I've ever got it out in one go.
What about the quiz?
So, actor number 1 is Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, little fact for you. I forgot what her father was called now. I had this before.
Great fact, John. Fantastic fact.
Well, it still
Got a
works.
great fact. What was his name?
It still works.
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow. Yeah. That's it, the actor. An actor as well. He was in the Twilight Zone movie in like 1981 or 2. Quite a famous actor at the time. And John Landis, directing the Twilight Zone film, for one Vietnam section, had actual helicopters on set. Helicopter came down, chopped his head off, killed him on stage. On set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Where
John Landis barely worked together.
would I
after that,
know
so.
her from?
Yeah. Where would we know this person from?
Twin Peaks. She's the hitman from Twin Peaks with Tim Roth in the van.
Oh yeah.
Right, okay.
She's in the Hateful Eight as I forgot her name now. The woman who met Mary Domadou or something.
I'm loving watching you, watching your brain ticking away there, going. What? It's like you know when Sherlock goes into his mind palace.
Yeah, she's got all that Twitter feed everywhere. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess 34. 30, I said 34, so I'm gonna have to stick with that.
A bit higher. I'm gonna go.
she was in Existenz as well, I think.
37.
I'm gonna go 54.
54.
54.
54.
She ain't that old.
She's 56.
What? I think I've mixed up who this person is. I must have done.
I didn't realise she was that old.
She ain't
Yeah,
that
she's-
old.
Yeah, she's not.
Well, I've got the wrong
picture
person
on
in my head
IMDb, she does look good for 56.
Can I see it?
I will say.
I think her dad died in 81, and she was a kid at the time. So
She looks great for her age.
She looks.
She does look
she looks
really
quite
good for a
56.
50.
Wow. All right.
can I get a point for that?
No, you're 2 years out. So.
Oh,
Same age as you, John.
Next up, Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
74.
Can't be that old. 51. Well, I don't like that answer now. I've said it. I've said it though.
I'm pretty sure Charlie Sheen's like.
Oh, it's not related to Charlie Sheen.
Wait, Michael.
This is the
Sheen.
no. This
Michael
is
Sheen.
this
Well-
is the one that
Welsh
did the
actor, this
window
guy.
cleaner.
Oh, that one.
Was it Welsh actor who's the bad guy in Twilight, the big
Oh, I'm
ultimate bad
thinking of
guy?
something else, aren't I?
You're thinking of Martin Sheen.
I am thinking of Martin Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
Oh well, I've put my answer in now.
The Dempster rule.
You can change it. No, you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
can I
change it,
Okay, so who's this guy from?
He was in The Damned United. He was in the new Tron film in 2010.
Masters of Sex TV show.
Masters of Sex TV show. He's been on other stuff as well, hasn't he? He was in
40.
Nocturnal Animals. He
Oh,
was
was
the
he?
artist guy who they meet at a dinner party.
Oh right, okay, so 45.
Yeah, I'm going to say 49.
Did I say 51?
I think you said 51, didn't you?
Okay.
49.
JT's correct.
Yes!
JT's got a point.
Bloody googled it.
2-1 up.
JT's in the lead overall of the series.
2-1.
You're at 98 points away.
98 to go.
So, lastly, number 3, Charlotte Rampling.
Charlotte Rampling.
Who's this? Can you get me a picture?
English actor. I know her from
Actress.
She was
I suppose
in,
you can use actor for both.
Yep.
Ignore my interjection.
She was. I know her from being the psychiatrist in the last season of Dexter.
Yeah.
Have you got a picture? What else has she been in?
She's an elderly lady. Well, elder lady.
She's an elder.
An elder.
Okay.
All right, okay.
What else was she in?
I don't know who she is.
I mean, you can guess from the picture though, surely.
Oh, but then we could play a game of guess how old this person is.
I'm going to jump in 73.
Yeah, I want to go in the 70s. So I want to go a bit,
Yeah, possibly
bit
older,
I
actually.
want
Eight.
78.
Because Dexter was like 5 years ago now, wasn't it?
81.
73.
You're a year out, JT. She's 72. She's younger than you thought.
Get a point for that.
Very flattering. for that.
You get a moral point for that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, end of the game. JT's on 2 points. Joe's on 1. Nick, still got to get off the mark.
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves his little game.
So do you, Joe. Don't lie.
Right, okay. Thanks, Sam.
No worries.
Okay, should we move on from the happy game to this film?
The main
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
Right.
What is the main event this week?
The main event this week is Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, Casey Affleck.
Right.
Yep. Hot topic at the moment.
Phil, for a second, whilst I get the synopsis up. Because
Why is he hot topics, John?
Potential.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yep.
Anyway. So the synopsis, short one for this film. A depressed uncle is asked to take care of his teenage nephew after the boy's father dies. So that's the synopsis.
Depressing, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this film is pretty depressing, though.
It is, yeah. It's like a but that's why I love it. It's just showing you like lives happening, and bad things happen, don't they? But, but at the same time, it's just like a goofy kind of,
I mean,
Where should we start?
It is depressing, but I liked the film. Like,
Yeah. Where do you want to start with this? Should we start talking about Casey Affleck and his performance?
Yeah, it's probably worth starting with.
Start with that because I think that's the main draw of this entire film.
it is. It was amazing, his performance. In this
Yeah.
film,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he absolutely hit it out of the park on this film.
And as you guys mentioned, his best actor winner, wasn't he? So he was rewarded for this part as well.
Yeah,
Because he is amazing. His portrayal of the film, I think you mentioned today, Nick, you got a bit confused with the flashbacks. You don't totally know whether you're in the flashback or the modern day.
I mean, we're all right to spoil scenes and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
we
I
always
think we
do.
have to be
We
honest.
always do it. There was It was the bit where he comes back from the shop and his house is on fire. It was only just after that I actually realised that it was flashing back and forth before that.
Yeah.
It was only then I was like, oh my God. So yeah.
I picked up pretty soon into the film either they were flashbacks.
I don't know. I was just going, what? Why is it? I don't get it.
I think I got it early on when like he's going to the morgue to go and see Kyle Chandler's body, and it flashes back to an earlier visit to the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's at that point in like, right, it's two kind of
That's what I
timelines.
mostly clicked
Got
on.
to admit, I wasn't 100% on the film though when I was watching it, so that's why I probably didn't notice it.
I'll just mention that as well, full disclosure. I watched this last January, 2017, so if I'm a bit hazy on some of the details, it might be. But in terms of the acting, like his portrayal, as you mentioned, the flashbacks, you're seeing him before the incident and after the incident. And the portrayal of like showing a man who's cocky and brash and arrogant and he's got like a huge group of friends to being afterwards where he's become so like withdrawn and within himself that he's become someone who doesn't want to affect anyone's life whatsoever because of what happened. Do you know what I mean by that? It's like,
He's completely avoid
all contact, so he doesn't have to affect anyone's life because he's already done like.
He absolutely
nails it, doesn't he?
Amazing. Like it's the whole acting to a certain extent, but acting so well that you're having to withhold these emotions that you're acting behind the scenes, if you follow what I mean. So he has to have all this there, but strain himself to not show the emotions because he's just locked them away. So that level of acting is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's multi-layered. You're playing somebody who's so damaged that there's all the stuff under the surface that I think you do see it a couple of times when he has like outbursts at people and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, I'd say that for me, the best scene in the film, if we just go straight onto that, is where Casey Affleck, or Lee, is his character, he bumps into his former wife, Randy, I think her name was.
Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Yeah, so like they're talking and she wants to talk to him and she's obviously getting really emotional, talking about what happened. She doesn't blame him, all this. But he's having to withhold all his emotions, but sneak him slightly out a bit in this scene. And that whole interaction between the two of them was just a phenomenal piece of acting, that.
Yeah.
Like having to do that and no, like, I don't know, it's just that whole scene is just a work of art for me. Like,
yeah, it's fantastic. I love that scene with Michelle Williams. There's almost, I mean, it's a tragic scene, but there's almost bits in that scene where funny's not the right word, but it's almost like because it's a real interaction, the goofiness comes through, kind of thing. Even though they're dealing with an awful subject, and it happens loads of times in this film where really like bad stuff's happened and people are really upset, but the goofiness of the scene, it's like a real thing. That's how it actually would happen. Like,
I think so much of this of the film is like that. Like it does feel so real. So like even after the fire, they're trying to get her in the back of the ambulance, and they can't even sort of like get the trolley.
That was exactly what
Or
I was
anything
thinking
like
of.
that. But there's so many moments in the film like that.
You've just seen the kids get killed in this fire, and then it cuts to them having this comedy scene where they can't get the gurney working to get her in the ambulance. And it's just like,
I don't even know.
Like,
I don't. The intent's not comedy.
it's not a comedy scene, but it's showing how real life these daft little things are going to happen, even though it's a tragic scene. You know what I mean?
But you never see these. You never see that in films.
No,
do you?
you
It's
just see
always
Will and
just,
him
like, perfectly like
with like sad music in the background and stuff. And
But this one, it's just the most awkward part of like wheeling someone into an ambulance that isn't working properly.
It doesn't feel funny. It just feels real. Like,
awkward. It's like that.
Prolonged, maybe.
Yeah.
Like just it's prolonging this scene, and it's
And you
like,
just want it to end, don't you?
yeah, you're like, just get me away from this place, and it's not like happening.
Yeah, got to note. There's a couple of bits like that. There's a bit early in the film after Kyle Chandler's died from he's got a heart condition or something.
So Kyle Chandler's Lee's brother.
Yeah, who's got the son who he has to look after.
Yeah.
Confusingly has the same name as his own character.
Oh, does he?
Lee Chandler. Well, Lee Chandler is his name.
Kyle Chandler, sorry, yeah.
Kyle Chandler, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, yeah. I thought you meant the son then. Lucas Hedges plays the son.
No, sorry.
You would have also seen him in 3 Billboards. He was the young son in that family.
Yep.
He's good in that as well.
Yeah.
But there's one bit when he walks into the morgue to like see the body of Kyle Chandler. He walks in and
Joe
goes,
Chandler. Just looking up, so I can see why it was confusing. The actor is called Kyle Chandler, and Joe Chandler is Lee Chandler's brother. The character.
Is it related to Chandler from Friends? This thing, but the son walks in and the dead body's on the table. And it's like, just turns around and walks straight back out.
Okay, thank you.
I love that scene though.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like he walks in and goes, "Yep, done," and then just turns back around, and like the whole setting up of that scene is for like literally a walk in and out job, and I loved that
Yeah.
because that's not how it normally gets shown in the films.
But it is a real moment, though. That's,
Yeah.
that's how it would happen, kind of thing.
That's exactly like how people react. But probably, like for some people, will react like that.
But then there's more of those scenes as well, sort of like I'm sure there's a scene in the car, and you literally it's a 2-second shot of them in the car where one of them says something and one of them replies. That's it. Like, it's great. I really like that.
Yeah, a bit like in Bruges with like the naturalistic kind of like dialogue and stuff. But there's another bit as well where there's been like a running theme throughout the film of the son is really bothered by the fact that his dad's in a freezer and they can't bury him because it's winter or something. Is that right?
Yeah. The ground needs to thaw over, so it means they're gonna have to keep the body in the morgue for
spring
like
or something.
a few months.
Yeah. And it's really bothering him. There's one bit when he like opens the freezer and like meat bangs him on the head or something or falls on the floor.
Oh god, yeah.
And he's just like, all I can think of is me dad in that fucking freezer. And again, it's an awful topic, but it's just
You've got far too much comedy out of this film.
well, I think that is generally intended to be a bit funny, like, you know, just the natural funniness of it. Like, he's really upset, but it's like, it's fucking freezer. He's bothered by the freezer because his dad's in the freezer. Like,
it's brought the real emotion out, but from like a frozen chicken falling out of the freezer.
The premise is daft.
yeah.
So it was nominated for a lot of awards. So I'm going to just run through the nominations it got.
Yep.
It got nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Original Screenplay. So it won Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor.
Yeah.
I think that's probably worthy.
And I think it was written by the director as well, Kenneth Lonergan.
Yeah.
He's only done 3 films, but I can't remember what the first one was. I've not seen that. But he did one called Margaret in 2011 with Anna Paquin. And I believe there was a load of issues with getting that film made. It spent like 5-6 years just trying to get it made and then released and stuff. But that's meant to be actually quite interesting as well. Meant to be a bit of a failure, but like an interesting failure. And but people have always rated him as being like a writer-director, seen as a genius and stuff. And I feel with this film, he's finally kind of like made you realise why people rate him so highly. I think this film's amazing.
Yeah. I think when you look at all the characters and stuff that are in it, they've all been fleshed out. Like there's no sort of other than the fact that your main character is like an empty character, and that's what he's playing.
Yeah.
All the characters have kind of got all of their emotions written out like properly. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So it's all fleshed out. I like the scenery of the place. Like
the location's amazing.
It's a great scene, a great
little
place
fishing village like
yeah,
that.
looks amazing.
I believe is it Boston, Massachusetts, where this is.
I think his original place was Boston, and then he moved to Manchester by the Sea.
Which he said is like an hour and a half away, so it's not that.
Yeah.
Talking of like the location and stuff and the sets and what have you, I love the bit where Kyle Chandler brings all the furniture for him to his like grungy little apartment. Kyle Chandler's the best in it. Like, I haven't got a brother, but if I had one, I'd want Kyle Chandler to be my older brother.
Yeah.
He's the coolest guy ever. Like, in every film, he's always like just a cool guy kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you're on about like little moments and stuff before. Like, I'm thinking about they drive somewhere and they go to find the car, and it's just this kind of like almost nothing scene of I can't find my car.
Yeah.
I've parked up the road.
Walk one way and then go. But they're talking, but they're clear. You almost feel like there's something up, and you start kind of looking around. And they get to a point where they stop. Where the fuck do I park my car?
Well, like there's a little bit in there where you can feel like it must be cold there, or like they're acting that it's cold, because there's a little gust of wind and they both react at the same time.
Yeah.
And just getting the sort of feeling for what the place is, I think was done really well with both the acting and the cast of where they've filmed the scenes. I think that all adds to the actual film.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree.
Sounds daft, but like it all adds to one thing.
It's like the location's a character in the film. Almost.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a great location. And you mentioned that bit where they're walking looking for the car. I think it's the scene where like there's a random guy who abuses him on the street or something. Yeah. Is that the right bit? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a bit earlier on, but it's one of those scenes where they're walking back. It might be not long after he's found out that he's going to be the guardian of the son. Yeah. And they have that little spat, and the guy walks past and goes, "Yeah, great parenting."
Yeah, that's
it. Just like
that guy's the director. Just put himself in the film, like, just for a scene, just to abuse Casey Affleck.
Right.
Yeah. In terms of Casey Affleck, again, I'm not trying to say this is a funny scene or anything, but the bit where the incident's happened and it's just so morbid is at the police station, and he tries to kill himself, tries to get the gun off the policeman and kill himself.
That was quite harrowing, that scene.
It is, but there's a little undercurrent of like slapstick comedy, I think, underneath it.
Did
like
he steals a gun from the policeman in a police station.
Yeah, and like he's like, no, don't do it. You know what I mean? There's a weird like just reality, a bit like levity. It brings levity to it, even though it's an awful thing you're watching.
Yeah.
There's a weird like levity to all these scenes, kind of thing that makes it feel real. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I mean that I was really touched by that whole scene when he's in the police bit because you know he's fucked up because you see him, he'd been doing drugs and like drinking with his mates and he was just being a nightmare that night.
Yeah.
And then when he's recounting the story to the policeman saying what had happened, he probably put a log on the fire and it probably rolled off. And he said there was like 10 minutes into his walk to the shop, he thought, did I put the fire guard on? And then just continues walking. And the kind of like, it's not like a sudden realization in his head, but he knows that he could have stopped that if he just went back. But when he's recounting the story to them, he says, oh yeah, I can't have the central heating on because it blocks Randy's sinuses and stuff. It's like, there's the sort of details that probably do come out in a scene like that when you're in the police station. He's explaining all these like tiny details they don't need to know about why the heating was off.
Yeah.
And he's almost blaming his wife, saying, you know, I've had to do that because of this. But that whole thing is like hard to watch.
It is,
He's acted it perfectly as well.
Yeah.
But the policemen are even they reply to him like, look, everyone makes a mistake. Thousands of people make a mistake, and you just happen to make one that has resulted in this. Yeah. But like you're on about the levity of it. The crushing facts are you are then watching a character act and grieve after something that you can't even think about happening to you. You're responsible for the deaths of your entire offspring, basically. Like that's harrowing, and it's the way that they've dealt with it. I think is perfect because as you go on in the film, he more or less agrees to the fact that he's never going to get over it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that the film ends with him. He can't get over it. He can't reconcile.
He tells his nephew, "I can't beat it. Like I can't do it."
Does he just say like, "You're gonna have to go and live with whoever because I just literally can't do it"? Like,
but it shows that you're not going to. There aren't just happy endings in life.
exactly, it's a real ending.
It's a real ending where
Which fitting with the film that it runs real all the way through and therefore shouldn't have like happy. Which is kind of what you want from the end of the film. You feel bad for these characters and you feel bad for the kid that knew his dad was going to die and sort of like because he had that condition and sort of like then it all happens and it goes through and it's not a pleasant time and you kind of going, there has to be a happy story where they live happily ever after, kind of like cliche. But I mean, it just doesn't because, well,
but the kid understands, doesn't he? Like he kind of like he finds it difficult as you can imagine moving with your uncle like after your dad dying and stuff. It's obviously awkward, but they grow with it. And by the end of it, he's kind of just accepted the fact that he isn't going to get over this. He's not going to be like a replacement type, you know.
It is sad. I mean, that bit when he tries to kill himself, you've got to think on some level it's almost better if he actually does. Like you're never going to get over this. You know what I mean? Like, so
grief.
Just mention it's an Amazon movie. Do you guys notice that?
I watched it on Amazon. So.
Yeah. Well, this is the cheeky thing though. Like, it was a theatrical film, but it's an Amazon movie. Netflix, if it's a Netflix film, they show it on Netflix straight away. Amazon didn't show this until recently on Amazon. You know what I mean? So it's an Amazon movie, but like, let's not get carried away. We won't put it on Amazon straight away. You know,
but it wouldn't have won the awards if they just put it straight on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a good point. It'd be regarded as DVD straight to DVD trash, wouldn't it? Like,
Do they fund it, or is it?
I believe they just produced it. Like they coughed up the money to pay for it. Yeah.
No. It's in connection with like 5 other like production companies, which I thought was. I mean, you usually have like 1 or 2, maybe like 3 or whatever. Like, there's a whole list of like
different production.
Whatever like that, so.
I mean, it's becoming more common now. Like a lot of these lower budget like dramas, they have to get like about 10 production companies behind it just to get them made, kind of thing. So spend half the film just watching the opening credits when it's like, you know, film Thailand and a million different production companies flashing up. You're like, is the film going to start at any point? Yep. Yeah. I think I'm pretty much done though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about it mainly just for Casey Affleck's performance because I thought it was one of the best performances I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
By, you know, a single entity in a film. Like, it's fascinating how good he's managed to act that. But that's what I wanted to dedicate a lot of time to. But,
I remember some early scenes in the film as well of like fishing, some good fishing scenes going on. Love that.
yeah, there is.
Get
on
them
the
out of the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just need a shark and it'd be perfect then. Just have Jaws circling
Yeah,
the boat.
I'm sure that would have added to the film.
Yeah,
Jaws
definitely.
showing up at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, Housefire, Jaws. Next time, we've got anything else to add to that other than Jaws?
I mean, it's going back to what I was saying earlier, sort of like Jobs and Concussion. It's like they're films on real events and stuff like that. This is like an original movie, but like it's just there needs to be more of this coming through rather than
yeah.
stuff being
Feels
sort of
real.
like
Rather than
if
Jurassic World, Forgotten
Yeah.
Planet, or whatever.
That'd be a good title.
But we're raving about this and we're saying how like everything that's been like having sequels or being rebooted and everything like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of can we concentrate on these kind of movies?
Yeah.
please?
I mean, it's not an original idea, like having grief to that scale, but it's been a long time since I've seen anything like this.
But, I mean, that's the sad thing. Like these kind of films just aren't getting made as much now because nobody wants to finance them because they don't make money. You know what I mean?
Unless they get huge.
Yeah, which they barely do. Like they gladly pay 200 million for the latest Marvel film, like, but they won't pay 10 million for this kind of film.
It's just the state of
Cinema.
Hollywood now, isn't it?
Cinema's dead. Yep.
But I keep
Cinema is dead.
well, I keep saying, and I get about Steve Jobs, like, well, maybe this is better in a documentary format, but documentaries don't make money, whereas putting Michael Fassbender in a Steve Jobs film does.
I know. I do believe though Steve Jobs was a massive bomb. Like I think it cost about between 20 and 30 million. It made like 10 million or something.
Really?
Like, yeah, people stayed away like in the droves. So
thought
even
it
though
was
critically people loved it,
Oh, okay.
money wise it bombed. Like
Still would have made more money than what a documentary would.
yeah, definitely. You're talking thousands for documentaries, aren't you?
So, yeah, Empire, when they were reviewing Casey Affleck's performance on this, said that, they favourably compared it to Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront.
On the waterfront. Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but is there a sort of
Yeah, it's just another drama
just
film.
an
but-
incredible acting level?
Yeah,
type thing.
just Marlon Brando's great in it. Like Last Tango in Paris and stuff is fantastic in that. So it's just that level of acting. He is that good. Like I think in this.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was just remembering we did Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He was in that, wasn't he?
He was great in that. Played like a weasel in that film as well.
Yeah.
Like, another hard part to play.
Yeah, I remember him doing amazing
Really
in that
well.
as well.
Yeah.
He was just a fantastic actor.
I mean, I think Ben Affleck's a great actor as well, like top talent actor. But I don't know. I don't think he could do this.
I think I prefer Casey Affleck in the minimal stuff I've seen him in to Ben Affleck myself.
I think Ben Affleck in Good Will Hunting, I prefer him in that. Not that it's a better performance, I just prefer his performance in that film. But he couldn't play this part, I don't think.
No, I don't.
So I think that says something, the
Batfleck.
Batfleck, yeah. Stick to Batfleck.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm done talking about that. Are you? Yeah.
Yep.
Ratings. I'll start. I'm going to give this 5 stars. I think it's a 5-star. I think it, like I said, one of the best acting performances I've seen in a long time. So for me, this film, everything together, it's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Is that your first 5 after Eternal Sunshine?
Oh, it might be.
I think it might be.
Could be.
I'll go back and check. Tune in next week.
Tune in next week to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. 5 stars. Like again, with like Casey Affleck's performance in it is just great, and it just like the realness I feel really comes across, and sort of like I do like the awkward moments in the film that just like back up the emphasis that these real things happen, and just sort of like it's not always like plain sailing, is it? And stuff like that. So.
And I feel like a big theme of it is just like it's life, get on with it kind of thing. Like, all this shit's going to happen, like, you just got to plod along.
That comes across in the film really well.
Yeah.
I do like the way it's done and sort of like the location and stuff like that. Yeah, 5 stars.
Is that your first 5-star film?
Didn't you give like I Am Legend 5 stars or something?
No. That was my film that week, but I rated that down really.
You gave that a 3, I think, didn't you?
I rated something 5 stars like
Taken.
a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I'll check that as well. I'll have that for next week.
We need to be logging all these on a spreadsheet.
Well, I've been logging them on Letterboxd. Surprise
Your
for you.
ones?
Yeah, mine
Let's
was.
get everyone
But, yeah. Yeah, I will. I'll go through and I'll log them all on there. Yep.
Nick,
I mean, I don't know if my rating really counts much. 'Cause like I said, the film didn't have 100% of my attention, but like you say, Casey Affleck's acting is phenomenal. From what like when I was actually watching the film, like it was unbelievable. Like proper touched me. Like when he was getting the gun and stuff, that proper got to me in that. But I don't want to rate it down because I've just not seen the film, so I'm just gonna have to give it a 5-star from what I've seen.
You're giving it a provisional 5 stars.
Yeah, purely because like I didn't give the film the attention it deserved, and like what I did see was absolutely amazing, but I can't rate it down just because I haven't seen it. So
Was that your first 5-star?
possibly actually.
It might actually.
We can't be this far.
Like the
in.
one that Inman was on about before, we all rated the film 5 stars.
Also, Wonder Woman as well. Being John Malkovich.
Being John
That was it.
Malkovich, we
Being
all
John
rated
Malkovich.
5 stars. But I think it was
I
Panic
missed that
Room. I
one, though.
rated 5 stars the other week.
I thought you gave it like a 4.5 or something.
Should we? Yeah,
remember.
John. Do you want to give your rating before we?
Yeah, before we get into that, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy 5 stars. If I'd have been watching it when it came out, I'd give it 6, but I don't think we can retrospectively give 6, can we? 5 stars. It would have been on my 2017 top 5, but it came out in the US in 2016. So
Yeah, it's a 2016 film, so
Yep.
knowing wouldn't stop you putting it on your
Split's
list.
a 2017 film, so that's different. But yeah, so yeah, easy 5 stars. It's fantastic.
I'd like to, like you're saying, being John Malkovich got 5 stars across the board. Was that a 3-man pod, that one?
It was, yeah.
Is this the first 4-man 5 stars we're given?
I think it might be. Yeah, I think it probably is.
With an asterisk next to it.
Eternal
on
Sunshine,
Nick's
didn't we?
provisional 5 stars.
Didn't we all give Eternal Sunshine 5?
I don't know. I don't think
I did.
Sam didn't.
I did.
Sam doesn't like good films. Sam likes Taken. What would just out of interest? What would you rate Taken?
It's got to be a 5. It's your favourite film.
I might just save that for the podcast when we do Taken.
Oh, we've got to do Taken.
We're gonna have to do Taken at some point. we need to do Taken because I'm gonna keep bringing it up until we've done it.
I'm looking forward to doing it.
Because I fucking
And it's only like 80 minutes long, so it's easy.
only
Quick watch.
quick watch. Okay. All right. Are we done for the week then?
Yep.
I mean, do we do social media first?
We were about to get to that, Nick. Nick, do you want to give the social media away?
Inman does it.
Oh,
I do social media. We're on Twitter at DSTE Podcast. Same thing on Instagram, even though we don't use Instagram.
great. Give it out anyway.
Followers, more content.
What were we saying before?
More followers, more content.
We are content creators.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What were we saying
Just not on
before that like
Not enough followers for us on there.
we keep getting views on Facebook, but like we don't actually use the Facebook, so people are viewing it and going on and noticing that we've got nothing on there.
I feel like we need to can this social media section. But got an Instagram, don't use that. Got a Facebook, don't do anything on that.
We also get followers on Instagram, so
To be
might be
fair,
worth mentioning.
I mean, we use the Twitter because we're getting followers on Twitter, but like if we actually got people liking Facebook and stuff, I'd start using it more. But
The gist is, if you start following it, then we might do some stuff when more people might add on.
Give us
down to you.
Facebook likes and we'll do something. So, yeah.
1 like equals 1 prayer.
Yeah.
Right, should we do personal ones then?
I'm on Twitter at Rubik's Football.
I'm at DSTE Nick.
Yep, I'm at Taylor1980 and you can email at don'tspoiltheending@gmail.com.
Do you check that inbox?
Check it every day.
Okay. I was going to say, get some emails, then I'll start checking it.
Yeah. Email.
And I'm at, it's Joe. YEH.
Yep.
I need to change it, because like people have been telling me that that's not how you spell yeah.
Well, it's not, is it?
No, that's
Well,
right.
like-
It's not.
But I've gave it away for every episode I've been on now, was that. And
I know you can't change it now because someone will go back and listen to episode 4 and be like,
Yeah.
This happened with my PSN, name this. Like, I just can't think of anything and have it. This is why I've not got a tattoo yet.
You can just choose something basic. Just go with what year were you born? 88?
89.
Just Joe 89. Just go with that.
Well, I did on me Twitch. I finally learned.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Took me a long time to learn. Right. Okay. Let's finish off then. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the show, guys.
Yep. Cheers,
yeah,
guys.
thanks very much.
Good.
Yep. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. And we'll speak to you again next week.
Okay, thanks
Cheers.
very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.